Guns, guns, gun control. They say the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Hunting rifles, assault rifles, concealed weapons, more background checks, stricter gun laws. Let's face it, most people who don't own a gun don't know shit about guns. Let me help y'all out. Let's start with the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment made to the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments made to the Constitution ratified in 1791. The First Amendment was freedom of speech, and right after that was the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, which shows the priorities of Americans at that time. Motherfuckers was like, all right, we can say whatever we want to say, and we fucking need guns.
I just immigrated to the U.S. and would like the right to say what I want.
Oh yeah, and these European felons y'all just brought out here acting brazy, yo. I need guns too, homie.
So what was America like in 1791 to put this high priority on guns? Well, there were only about 3.9 million Americans, which is about the same population of Oklahoma. The arms we gave ourselves the right to bear were vastly less powerful. They were single-shot muskets that had to be manually loaded with a powder and a ball for each shot, versus today's semi-automatic assault rifles that spray about 50 to 60 high-caliber bullets per minute. Slavery was legal. America didn't extend west of the Mississippi River. Really, it was only about 13 colonies. People who were already here and European immigrants were still at war. Majority of the people still hunted for food, and the frontier that many parts of the country was essentially lawless. Citizens had to protect themselves because no one else could. So with this being said, can we agree here? Since 1791, when the Second Amendment was ratified, the country's circumstances have changed a lot. But wait, I got more for you. Americans represent less than 5% of the world's population, but possess nearly 50% of the world's civilian-owned guns. American civilians own more guns than any other country. 1 in 315 Americans die from assault from a gun, while 1 in 108 people die in accidents involving a motor vehicle. American civilians own more guns than any other country. Compared to other developed countries, America has the highest percentage of gun homicides at 64%, Canada at 30.5%, Australia at 13%, England and Wales at 4.5%, and Japan literally being non-existent due to strict gun laws. The average price of a handgun is roughly $200, which is the same price as some J's, while the average price of an assault rifle is roughly $1,500, which is just about how much my MacBook costs. People with access to more guns tend to kill more people with guns. States with higher ownership rates have higher gun murder rates, as much as 114% higher than states with lower gun ownership rates. More than 75% of the weapons used in mass shootings between 1982 and 2012 were obtained legally. Mass shootings actually account for a tiny portion of all gun deaths. Of total gun deaths in 2014, 2/3 were actually suicides. There were nearly twice as many suicides involving firearms in 2015 as there were murders involving guns, and the rate has been increasing by the recent years. Suicides by firearm accounts for almost half of all suicides in the U.S. A 2016 study found that there was a strong relationship between higher levels of gun ownership and higher firearm suicide rates for both men and women. This suicide and guns relationship brings up a deeper conversation that no one is speaking about. The average age of attackers in the 91 recorded U.S. mass shootings, including the Las Vegas attack, was 34. The Las Vegas attack was the worst in recent U.S. history, and the 3 shootings with the highest number of casualties have all happened within the past 10 years. The Parkland, Florida attack was the worst school shooting since Sandy Hook in 2012. So raising the age of gun ownership and banning assault rifles would have prevented these very specific gun violence incidents, but there is a greater conversation that needs to be had. Motherfuckers is off and off themselves with handguns more than anything else. Increasing gun possession is actually a backwards view, as states with higher gun ownership and looser gun laws have a higher gun rate violence, and states with more rigid gun laws show less gun violence. And let's be frank, arming teachers is just a distraction. Come on, adding more guns to the situation is not gonna solve the problem. I'm just saying, however you feel about guns in our society, that's on you. I'm just trying to give you the information and resources so that you can make an educated opinion on the topic at hand. Don't get sensationalized by the media, man. Unfortunately, there isn't a catch-all solution at this point, but I would like to leave you with some questions. How do you feel about citizens purchasing assault rifles by just showing an ID? Do you feel that there should be some type of educational class when it comes to purchasing these type of assault rifles? But I will say this, as long as the KKK and neo-Nazis exist and actively try to intimidate people that look like me, I will own a firearm. But guess what, America? I can do that. You can own guns and still push for updated gun laws. Why? Because I know I'm a sane non-felon who is a responsible citizen. And I know adding deeper background checks that include mental health, this in no way would affect my right to own guns. So what are you afraid of? The Second Amendment is just that, an amendment, not a commandment. So what are you afraid of? It was just a law that was necessary at a hostile point in America's time. We are no longer that America, and we have to do things differently if we want to see change. I'm Chin. If you like this video, don't forget to share with your friends. Please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Needed Negro News. And finally, this has been another episode of Needed Negro News. Hey, also a special shout out to Xhris with HOLLA Creative. I really appreciate the time you put into this. That's my creative director. You guys check him out.
Sure.